and welcome to This Week with Ajaz Ul Haque. It's Sunday, the 8th of January 2023. Hope you're all well. At the outset, I'd like to say this is a vlog that brings you news and views, and I would very much like to hear from you as to what topics we should cover. So please mention those in the comment section. I will respond to each and every comment. Also, it will give me an idea what viewers want to hear, what viewers want to watch, and would like to try and make this program according to wishes. Thank you so much. The topics we will cover today: who murdered Arshad Sharif, the climate change impact in Pakistan and floods, and Kevin McCarthy becomes the Speaker of the House of Representatives in the US. Now, Arshad Sharif, one of the topmost investigative journalists in Pakistan, was brutally murdered in Kenya on October 23, 2022. He received several threats while he was in Pakistan, so he had to leave and went to Dubai from here. But the government officials in Pakistan used their contacts and had his visa cancelled in Dubai. He was forced to leave, and the only visa he had was for Kenya, so he went to Kenya. And it seems that his hosts were complicit in his murder, and the Kenyan police have been issuing conflicting statements, sometimes saying there was a blockade and his car didn't stop, so we shot him, while the driver was perfectly all right, and the only person shot was Arshad Sharif. But the autopsy reports suggest something different. Also, some videos have come out of torturing Arshad Sharif. So it seems that he was brutally tortured and murdered in Kenya, and the Kenyan police is hiding something, and so are the Pakistan authorities. For 43 days, no first information report or FIR was registered by police in Pakistan against his murder. Only on the order of the Supreme Court, the FIR was registered, and that too at police request, not at the family's request, because the law here is that the victims have the right to file a complaint and nominate who they think are behind this, and but the FIR that's been registered contains none of that information. Anyway, the Supreme Court then set up a joint investigation team, a JIT, which comprises people from police, intelligence agencies, etc., who have been interviewing various people, but they have not interviewed any of the suspects that the family has pointed out. And now the team is ready to go to Kenya. The chances are this JIT team is just not going to get anywhere, because some of the people in it are reporting to their bosses in the agencies who are alleged to be involved in this murder. So it was up to the Supreme Court. They should have requested the United Nations to set up an independent panel to inquire this murder, and only then would we have come to the truth. But it seems that we are never going to find out. Like so many other murders in Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto, Liaquat Ali Khan, etc. Arshad Sharif was an outstanding investigative reporter. He's the one who broke a lot of financial scandals, and he did his work well. He had his figures correct, he had his documentation correct, and he was considered #1 journalist in Pakistan as far as investigative reporting is concerned. May he rest in peace, and may we find out who the culprits are who have committed this heinous crime. Now, the climate change impact in the world is taking its toll. Pakistan only contributes 0.1% to the climate change, but it has taken the biggest hit. In the summer 2022, massive floods in Sindh, Balochistan, Southern Punjab, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa provinces made 33 million people homeless. That is the population of Canada almost. Many of those are still homeless, especially in Sindh province, because the Sindh government has done absolutely nothing for the flood affectees. In fact, the water is still standing in many areas, and no pumping arrangements have been made to put the water back in the canals and rivers. So the people are just waiting in the sunshine, in the rain, in the cold weather, and the only help they've received is from the private organizations who have been out there helping them with food and bedding and tents and so on. Fortunately, a conference is being held in Geneva tomorrow, January the 9th, under the title of Climate Resilient Pakistan. Now, this is going to determine the damage Pakistan has suffered. The estimates are in the region of $16 billion, and Pakistan is requesting this conference to come up with at least $8 billion. Various leaders attending this conference, including the French president and a number of other heads of states. Let's hope they come up with a positive answer and also a solution to avoid future floods like the ones that we've experienced this time. It was Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's 95th birth anniversary on January 9th. Despite his personal shortcomings, he was an outstanding diplomat. And a feather in his cap was organizing an Islamic conference in Lahore in 1974. He was a brilliant master at diplomacy. Also, he improved relations with China and handled negotiations with Indira Gandhi on POWs rather smartly when Indira Gandhi refused to accept Pakistan's term. And he said, okay, I'm going back to Pakistan and you can keep all our POWs. And that put Indira Gandhi into panic, and there was a peace agreement within an hour after that. On international issues, the war goes on in Yemen. It has killed thousands of people. The US initially was supplying arms to Saudi Arabia and other countries, and United Arab Emirates and so on. But that war has killed so many innocent people, and nobody seems to pay any notice. It is time to end this war. It's futile, it's mindless, it is of no consequence to anyone. And I think this war, both Iran and Saudi Arabia need to come to grips with it and stop supplying arms to their proxies in Yemen. The United States House of Representatives, which is now majority controlled by Republicans, had quite a circus this week. Kevin McCarthy was the candidate for Speaker to replace Nancy Pelosi. After 13 ballots or 14 ballots, he failed to be elected. But on the 15th ballot last night, he was successful and he is now Speaker of the House. And that is before some members of the House almost came to blows on the floor of the House. It looked like a third world circus from outside here. Now, the subject that I feel very important about is Kashmir. It's been 75 years since India and Pakistan have been fighting over it, and they fought 3 wars. Thousands of people have been killed. Both the countries have nuclear weapons and armed to the teeth. I think it's time for common sense to prevail. Who is going to take the lead and put an end to this? It is time to make peace between India and Pakistan. It's time to make the ceasefire line as a permanent border. It's time for India to withdraw their 700,000 troops in Kashmir and Pakistan to reduce its presence in Azad Kashmir and let the people of Kashmir mingle because they have families divided on both sides. Similarly, open trade between India and Pakistan, open travel and tourism. There are enormous peace benefits to be had from peace between India and Pakistan. India will have a passage to Central Asia and China through Pakistan, and Pakistan will have a 1.4 billion people market right next door. So I think common sense needs to prevail. Indian and Pakistani leaders need to say enough is enough. We're not going to lose any more lives. And the problem is that with the nuclear weapons, even a slightest mistake could kill hundreds of millions of people. So, guys, let's save the money we're spending on nuclear weapons and on normal weapons, and let us work for the people of the two countries. There's poverty in India and Pakistan. There are hundreds of millions of people who deserve a better life, and hopefully they will pay attention to this and come to senses. Thank you very much. That's all for the week. I look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, please do share this video with your friends, and also let me know with your comments as to which topics you'd like to see covered. Thank you and goodbye.